hand gestures help with the relief of rheumatism and arthritis. And they don't necessarily just need to be practiced by the old. The young can practice them too, to offset the onslaught of rheumatism and arthritis. So today we are going to go through a sequence of hand gestures and movements to give greater mobility to the bones of the fingers and the wrists. And then we'll also give some TLC to our feet. So we're going to have an MOT of our furthest parts of the body, the fingers and the toes. Let's start with curling. Very simple. We're going to take the arms stretched out, shoulder level, so the elbows, wrists and hands are shoulder level too. And then we will take the index finger of each hand and curl it around the thumb, and then extend through the arms to the fingertips, taking a breath in, rising up through the trunk of the body, taking a breath out, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears and unclenching the teeth. Gently release and then recurl. So you can even have your arms out to the side in line with the shoulders if you like. You're going to stretch into the fingertips and then release and recurl. Index finger of each hand curling round to connect at the very foot of the thumb, stretching into the tips of the three fingers that are reaching out, and then release. So you choose, the arms can be out in front of you or to the side of you. Curl once more and then release. This time we'll go for contraction. So you can rest your left arm naturally in your lap, and you can be seated in a chair, on the floor, kneeling, cross-legged, however you feel comfortable. We'll take the right hand and we're going to connect the tip of the index finger with the thumb. Press. Release and go to the next finger, the middle finger, and just press that tip down on the thumb. And release. Ring finger. And release. Little finger. And release. Other side. Index finger. The top fleshy pad of the finger presses to the fleshy pad of the thumb. Release. Middle finger. Release. Ring finger, release, little finger. Now let's take the hands out in line with the shoulders and go through that again on each side. So starting with the index finger pressing on the thumb, release, middle finger, release, fourth finger, release, little finger, release. And then you might like to just flick those hands, flick the fingers, and bring them to rest in front of you. Just take time to check in with your posture as well now, and be aware that you are retaining that elevation and uplift rather than the slump, the slouch. So breathe in, rise up. As soon as you lift up and rise up, it activates the core muscles in the stomach, supporting, protecting the spine. So even whilst you're working the hands, you're increasing abdominal strength too. Let's go to fanning now. So if we bring the heels of the hands together, pressing, and then draw the palms of the hands together, the fingers, the elbows. Nice deep inhalation and exhalation. And then release the elbows so they open out. Release the heels of the hands to the tips of the fingers, and then close that down and release the tips of the fingers to the elbows. Do it nice and slowly, consciously. See if you can get your elbows up in line with the shoulders. Keep the breath flowing. Unclench the teeth. One more time. You can really feel the stretch across the upper back here. And then gently release. Take a nice deep breath in. Rise the shoulders up, round and back to an exhalation. Now we'll go for the fish. So what we're going to do is we're going to place each hand one atop the other so that the four fingers of each hand are resting and the thumbs are flapping around either side. Okay, almost like the fins of a fish. Stretch your arms out in front of you, nice and straight. See if you can get elbows, wrists, hands in line with the shoulders. And then circle the thumbs forward. Keep the breath flowing, teeth unclenched, skin on the face soft. And then circle the thumbs backwards. And gently release, allow the hands to open out, and then place the opposite palm on top. So you've still got both thumbs flapping about either side and the four fingers of each hand resting on top of each other. Bringing those hands and elbows aligned with the shoulders, and then circle the thumbs forward. And then circle the thumbs backward. And gently release. A nice deep breath in, take the shoulders back, up, and then exhale forward and down. Stay lifted through the torso, nice and relaxed along the neck, the throat, the jawline. And now we'll do the deer. So you're going to take the middle finger and ring finger of the right hand and curl them under and then secure them with the thumb. You then take the fingers of the other hand and really stroke through from the knuckles of the middle and ring finger to the wrist. And then release, other hand. So left hand, the middle and the ring finger curl round to be caught by the thumb to secure them in place. Stretch the arm out, in front of you, and then using the right hand, stroke fully from the knuckles all the way to the wrist. Firm but gentle. And then release. Rest the hands naturally on the knees. Draw in breath, rise up. Close the eyes. Tune in. Now we're going to do the peacock. So we'll do individually each hand, and then we'll attempt to do both hands together. Remember that if the bones in your fingers, called phalanges, feel really rigid, then use the breath, remembering that when you breathe out, your diaphragm contracts, it relaxes, so the rest of the body follows suit. So it will always be on an outward breath that you will be able to make the movement, because a wave of softness, a wave of release runs through the body. Okay? So the peacock, let's do the right hand first. Take your middle finger and cross it over your index finger. You might remember having done this as a child in the playground. Then take your ring finger and cross it over the middle finger and the index finger. And then lastly, the little finger crosses over. And then the thumb connects with the index finger, supposedly making the peacock's eye. And breathe. And then gently release. Let's go with the left hand. The middle finger crosses over the index finger. The ring finger crosses over the middle finger. And then the little finger crosses over the index finger. Whoops, mine seemed to be slipping. And then you connect the index finger with the thumb. Okay? I think the hand cream I put on earlier has made mine a bit slippy. Let's see then if we can do both together. Both hands, the peacocks. And you can just rest them naturally, either into the lap or just at the knees. You can close your eyes, breathe in and out, giving you time to tune in and experience the move, the posture you have made with the phalanges, the fingers. And then we can release. And again, you might like to flick the fingers as if you're shaking water droplets off the tips of the fingers. The next exercises in the sequence are actually massage. So you can either do these yourself or ask someone to do them for you. And you might like to use a tiny little bit of natural oil. Very simply, we take the right hand, using the left hand, grab onto the index finger from the webbing, and gently pull all the way down. And then you just move along each finger. It's a firm but gentle pull from the webbing all the way down. Staying lifted through the torso as you practice. Remember, you don't want to slump or slouch and have a rounded spine at the top, a curvature of the spine, because your ribs are then compressing down into the stomach, and that will stop the benefits of good breathing, extra oxygen getting in and feeding all of your internal organs. Let's go again. Firm but gentle pull of each finger individually. Third time on each hand. Really beneficial. We use the hands so much and sometimes tend to forget that there are actually exercises for the hands too. And if you've been sitting cross-legged, you might want to now uncross and recross the feet in the opposite direction. So we just done a stretching massage of the fingers, and now we're going to do valley massage, whereby let's take the left hand and put the thumb and the index finger deep into the webbing of the right hand, the index and the middle finger, and then you will use the thumb of the left hand to rub into the palm of the right hand, whilst also using the index finger of the left hand to rub on the top of the right hand. So you are working both sides simultaneously. Valley massage. And then just move down one. So you're now in the valley between the third and the ring finger. Use the thumb and index finger to massage the palm and the back of the hand. And then move one down between the ring and the little finger, and it's the same again, rubbing. And then we'll go to the other side. So with the right hand, use the thumb and the index finger to draw through in between the index and the middle finger of the left hand. And then use your thumb to rub and your index finger to rub. Valley massage. And then the next valley between middle and ring. It really feels good to massage the hands. And then between the ring and the little finger. And release. Take a nice deep breath in and out. And then to finish, we'll do the rotating massage. So we'll take our left hand, drawing the fingers to rest on the back of the right hand, bring the thumb into the palm and make circles. Very simple massage, but feels great. You can rotate in one direction and then in the opposite direction. And then release on the other side. So your left thumb will rest into the palm, your right thumb will do the rotating in the palm of your left hand. First one way, then the other. And just taking the time to scan the body, unclench your teeth, relax the skin on your face. Be aware that you're in a nice, calm and composed state of mind. And then release. So allow the hands to rest onto the knees, palms facing upwards, fingers curl naturally. Allow there to be space between the fingers. Close the eyes and breathe in and out. Okay, so let's bring some TLC now to our feet. Release the right foot and catch underneath the hamstring, and then let that right foot come up off the mat. And you're going to circle the foot, mobilising the ankle. First, maybe anti-clockwise and then clockwise, whichever way suits, as long as you do both ways. And then point and flex, and be aware that you are still sitting upright, so you could be doing this in a chair. As long as you're conscious there's no slouch or stoop in the upper body. Okay, so now we want to draw the foot, the right foot, in towards us. If you're unable to get the foot yourself, then hopefully try and get someone else to do this for you, to massage your feet. You might like to again use a little bit of natural oil, almond oil or peach, and then just put a little bit of that oil around the foot, and then you're going to mentally relax in the toes, so they should be nice and loose. If they're feeling rigid to begin with, it's possibly the years of tension that have built up in them, that you've never possibly given them some TLC. So really relax down in the toes. Every time you breathe out, surrender them, feel them soften. The bones of the toes, they're called phalanges too. So we're going to take the phalanges of our hand and we're going to separate the toes and get our fingers really in between those toes, deep down to the webbing on each. And then just gently rock back and forth. And if you've never done this before, you may find to begin with that it is really stiff. It's just about surrendering, softening over time. Remember, yoga is not a quick fix. It's a continual study of the self, maintenance of the self, caring for the self. And once you start to relax, you might be able to wiggle them a little bit faster. And then release, and you'll just give them a nice stroke in the natural flowing direction of the toes. So you're coming from the front of the foot, giving them a stroke, and then you'll bring the hand from underneath the foot and stroke the toes back in the opposite direction. And then if you can turn the foot over and use the left thumb to press on the fleshy part, sorry, it's the right thumb to press and rotate on the fleshy part of the right big toe. So you're making those circular movements around that fleshy part, both directions. And then gently release. Nice deep inhalation and exhalation. And then we'll transfer and do the other side. So let's release the right foot, release the left, draw the heel of the right foot close in towards the perineum. If we are seated on the mat, if you're on a chair, then just get ready to pick up the left leg, hold underneath the hamstring, rise up through the trunk of the body, and then circle the toes. Imagine that you are using the big toe to draw around the outside of a tea plate, about the size of a tea plate, clockwise and then anti-clockwise. And then point and flex. Tune into the breath. Always going back to have that reconnection with the breath. Always having that observation of your stature, your poise, your sense of calm and composure. And then drawing that left foot in towards you. A little bit of oil on the foot, front and back. And then you will bring the right hand, spread the fingers and get them in between each one of your toes. And it may not happen immediately. Your toes might be rigid and firm together, and it may take you time to get those fingers through, getting webbing to webbing, but it will happen. I couldn't do it when I first attempted, but over time I relaxed in my mind, sent the message from my mind to my toes, and then you can just flex them back and forth, connecting with the breathing because the breath is the guide. And once you're able to move them back and forth, you might be able to speed up a little, really getting some mobility into those toes. Your feet are going to really thank you for this kindness that you are showing them, this attention you are paying them. They'll be renewed, refreshed, revigorated. And then let's release the hand and stroke the toes in their natural direction. So you're coming from the front of the foot, stroking those toes, rounding them over. And then from underneath, in the opposite direction. And really tune into the feet, look at them whilst you give them the tender, loving care so that they really know what they are receiving. And then turning that foot over so the sole of the foot faces you, get the thumb of your left hand and just circle around the fleshy part of the left big toe. Both directions. release. Allow the hands to rest naturally on the knees or into the lap. Rise up through the trunk of the body, chin parallel with the mat. Close the eyes, unclench the teeth. Breathe in and breathe out. And be aware of the new energy that is fizzing and bubbling inside of you now. You've activated the fingers and the toes, the palms of hands, the soles of the feet, rejuvenated and regenerated on cellular levels, molecular levels. Be aware of this. Experience the feeling, the motion. And then open the eyes, bring the palms of the hands together at the heart to give thanks for your self-care, self-kindness, self-attention. And to just take that moment to have gratitude for all that you have, your health, your limbs, everything that you have, rather than focusing or looking at what you don't have. And then enjoy the rest of your day safe in the knowledge that yoga has done good for you.